to our first event for Data Days.
So my name is Tiffany Moy, and I am the president of Wharton Undergraduates Data Analytics Club, otherwise known as WUDAC. And so we're super excited to bring to you guys this event today and tomorrow, along with the collaboration with Wharton Customer Analytics. So just a bit of background about WUDAC, if you guys don't know. You guys probably met us at the clubbing fairs at our GBM. So we provide a lot of educational events as well as industry speakers, which you'll see today and tomorrow. So that'll give you guys just a taste of what we do throughout the entire semester and throughout the years that we've been operating. And so Wharton Customer Analytics also does pretty much the same things too. They provide a lot of online educational classes. We partner with them extensively to bring you guys events like this to reach a broader scope other than just the undergraduates. So, you know, we've had a long-standing relationship with them, and we're super excited today to bring to you guys this event. So one thing I wanted to acknowledge too is that I'm currently coming to you guys live from the new home for data analytics at Penn, which is the academic research building. And if you guys ever want to contact Wharton Customer Analytics or you want to meet them in person, they're located here just on the 3rd floor. So come stop by to see them anytime. And then you guys can always see WUDAC at our events and email us whenever you need. So yeah, so before I get started with our exciting panel for today, I just wanted to explain kind of the ground rules for Zoom. And then, well, you guys are in person, so it should be okay. But if you guys are on Zoom, you'd be muted upon arrival, but definitely make sure to unmute your video so that we can make this as interactive as possible with you guys. But be sure to mute your sound through the entire panel unless you're asked to unmute. If you guys have any questions for the speakers throughout this session, just feel free to add a comment into the chat box for your question. And during the Q&A portion of the event, if you guys want to verbally ask your question, just use the raise hand function under the reactions button so that our awesome moderator, Mary Perk, will invite you to unmute and ask your question. So without further ado, I would love to introduce our moderator for today, Mary Perk, and she is the Executive Director for Wharton Customer Analytics and AI for Business at Penn. So in the past, she's worked in industry at Nielsen and IRI, developing and implementing analytic platforms focused on customers and brand equity. But now here at Penn, she's done so many awesome initiatives, including our first Women in Data Analytics event 2 years ago in person. And then otherwise, you know, she's the director for all these amazing educational events that we bring to you guys. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Mary Perk to begin our event.
Thank you, Tiffany. It's really a thrill to be able to be part of your WUDAC Data Days. So thank you very much for the invitation. And like you mentioned, we have a long-standing relationship with WUDAC, and you are all welcome to visit our suite on the 3rd floor. As you can see from my background, I'm very proud of the ARB building and where we're located. This is definitely a space that we hope you all can enjoy and use to for your different projects that you have. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panel. We're really fortunate to have 3 individuals from companies that we have worked closely with on an accelerator in the past or will be in the future. And our 3 panelists today are Daniel Goshi from Lidl, the international grocery store that is predominantly, you might have seen them in Europe, but there's over 150 stores now in the Northeast. John Mccoosh, he is, and Daniel's title is VP of Analytics and Governance and a couple other things, but today he's really going to be talking about the analytics part. John Mccoosh, who is a senior data scientist of audience research at Fox Entertainment. And both of these companies we were associated with, we did projects with them associated with our accelerator. And Lucas Varnya, she is from Zillow, and he will be leading a project this fall that we're going to be doing with Zillow. So Thank you. And Lucas is in charge of the VP of Marketing Analytics. And I know he's just been at the company for a short while, so he might tell us a little bit about his previous job as well. So without further ado, what we're going to be doing, just for all of you in the audience, we're going to have a discussion with our panelists for about 20 minutes, and then we'll be opening it up for discussion. So as you have some questions, feel free to put those in the chat box, and we will then be asking them of our panelists. So to get us started, what I'd like the three of you all to do is tell us a little bit more about your role in your company, and then one or two examples of data-driven initiatives within your company that you lead. So Daniel, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mary, and thanks as well for the invitation. Happy to talk about it. Yes, as you mentioned, I'm working with a Lidl, grocer, and for those of you who don't know us, Lidl is one of the biggest grocery retailers in the world. And since 2 years, we have, or not 2 years, but since almost 5 years, we have built up a presence here in the United States. And now over 160 stores across the East Coast, and there are even some stores in proximity to the university, of course. And yeah, I'm here in the US since 2 years, and my role at Lidl US is I'm the VP for Analytics and Management Accounting. And what I have been doing in the last 2 years in the field of analytics is really kind of building up this analytics department. We think that data is really key to kind of getting to use all of the opportunities that we see here in the US market. And you asked for two examples of what we've been doing in the past, and I can tell you one of those is definitely that. As you know, hopefully know, we are having every week's very exciting promotions for our customers at incredible prices, and you can kind of expect that the demand is quite high of the customers if they see those products. We have a lot of private label, but as well branded items, and we have to predict those items up to 1 year in advance, what the amount will be and to what stores to allocate the quantities. So here we are using analytics and a lot of data and different data sources in order to make sure that our customers will get as well the right amount of products in the right quantity on the shelves. So this is something where we are working very closely together with the business department, with our supply chain, and with our promotion team. Yeah, and another example number 2, would be just the optimization of our product assortment. You need to think that we are very experienced in the European market with a very experienced assortment, but we are rather new in the US business. And we have as well, of course, acknowledged that the United States has differences between its states, and what might sell very good on Long Island in New York might sell differently in Atlanta and Georgia. And of course, here we use as well customer behavior. We use internal and external data in order to support our category management and our purchasing department to make the right decisions, in order just that the customer find those products in their stores which they actually want.
Very good, very good. We'll follow up with another question, but let's get through. I really want to hear from both John and Lucas as well. So John, Lucas, which one would you like? Who would like to follow Lidl?
I'll go.
Okay.
Yes, I work with the audience research team, and it's a team composed of quantitative analysts and qualitative researchers. And we work with the television series that Fox Broadcast put on, the Fox Entertainment division. And we help provide analytics for decision makers. My role is more and more towards moving our analysts into sort of advanced analytics and data science as things become much more complex, given that linear and streaming TV is now becoming intertwined, and there's a lot of various different types of data sources, and there's big data now with streaming sources and things like that. We work both with, small bore data science types of problems where we have very small data sets, but they're very complex and rich. We also work on the streaming side. So we have billions of records, and we're looking at behaviors, streaming behaviors, binging, and also trying to develop, more sophisticated models and things like that, where we're looking at customer segmentations on a large scale, targeted, promotions and things like that are the downstream kinds of insights that we would like to get from that, and be able to push those off to the decision makers so that they can make decisions about going forward. In terms of projects, the Wharton Analytics project that we did last spring was about a small and rich data set, and it was a combination of linear and nonlinear and social data, trying to predict premier reach, the linear premier reach, and seeing also, what kinds of impacts the various different types of drivers from those different mixed sort of data sources could help us with. We did a lot of exploratory analysis in collaboration with the students, but also led into things that were much more sophisticated, predictive modeling, cluster analysis, and things like that. And just to try to give us a better understanding of that kind of data. But one of the newer projects that we're working on is the streaming data, and we're spinning up things where we get data from Hulu or Fox Now or Tubi, and we'll be working with that kind of data. And right now, I'm working very specifically with the Hulu data, streaming data, and there's a lot of wonderful sort of interesting things about that data and how large and complex it can be, both related to streaming and and linear TV as well.
Wow. So, I mean, that right there, you can get all the different types of analytic experiences using the Fox data, with linear data, nonlinear data, exploratory analysis, predictive analysis, and how it's really going to, and see in real time how it's going to affect the different choices. People.
So it's very much a smorgasbord, yes.
Yes, so that's fantastic, and a great plug for the WCA working relationship with Fox. Okay. So now let's bring on one of our newer partners to WCA, Zillow. Lucas, if you could just tell us, I know you're new to Zillow, if you could tell us a little bit about your role and potentially some of the data-driven projects that Zillow is involved in, that you'll be leading and working on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mary, and thank you to the team for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Lucas Brana. My pronouns are he, his, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing Analytics at Zillow for 3 months. And so a lot of what I will be sharing is even as part of my learning journey. My team, the team that I lead at Zillow is a data science group, which is part of the AI and analytics division. And really our mission is to support primarily the marketing as well as corporate strategy organizations in their decision-making. Zillow is at an intriguing point between what we already know and what we are looking to learn. Some of you may have seen or may be aware is that Zillow is sort of now, over the last 2 years, pursuing what we call Zillow 2.0, which is an evolution of providing to the customers the ability to look for the next home and either next home or a dream home, as we all use it, to become more than that, to become a platform where you can directly transact, sell a home, buy a home, finance, refinance directly through Zillow. Obviously, that's a massive opportunity for each and one of us as we are looking to simplify and streamline the experience. It's a business opportunity for Zillow, and it's a huge opportunity for perhaps dependency on data science to power all that and to help us succeed on this mission. And so there's a wide range of work streams ranging from experimentation, campaign optimization, competitive intelligence, The two initiatives that I will highlight today is marketing mix model and customer journey analytics. And so both of them are looking at understanding customer actions through different lens. MMM is obviously at the aggregate level and being able to incorporate some of the broader macroeconomic factors, while the customer journey is providing us very granular intelligence at the individual grain level about propensities and next best action and LTV, et cetera. And so as mentioned, I'm 3 months in my role, so I'm learning still. These projects are also actually more towards the beginning. And so I'm very excited about the opportunities that these will bring for the business, as well as the ability to work and cross-reference the learnings from the accelerator program in applying these in our mission.
Well, thank you. We're so fortunate to have all of you here. And I would love to continue to talk about some of the projects that we're working on with Wharton Customer Analytics, but we do have all these students here and they are very eager to understand what are some of the key attributes you all are looking for in your students in terms of student teams and potentially when you're interviewing potential candidates to work at your company. So specifically, if you could comment on what you're looking at in technical skills versus communicating business insights. So let's start with Lucas on this first one.
Yeah, sure. It's a great question. The way I would answer it is it's twofold, and I will focus on the level as the question is asked, but it is always about balance. And I see balance as sort of balancing the talent and the different pools of talent as a part of a team, right? So not having like for like individuals, but rather different expertise spread across the different parts, different members of the team. But on an individual level, it is about balance as well. It's a balancing act of technical skills that, the bread and butter of analytics and data science is obviously SQL, R, and Python. But I would see that perhaps more as a qualification, as something that there is a specific threshold that we are looking to for someone to be able to succeed, to bring the value that we are looking for. But as we think about kind of the opportunity to scale the value added through the work that is being done, it is really about the communication, but maybe more so than just communication of the insights. I'm thinking also kind of the upfront communication. So the curiosity, the questions being asked, probing, going beyond how the problem or opportunity is phrased and trying to understand anything beyond that so that, we can potentially generate an outcome that is more than was originally thought of. And so those are kind of the superpowers of a data scientist that I'm looking for, as well as, also as part of the student program.
I like how you phrased that, the superpowers of a data scientist. Danielle, how would you add to that, or possibly, add something different?
Sure. So I pretty much liked the answer of Lucas, and I can just echo on that as well. And what I would like to add there as well is really that curiosity and business understanding that you need. So while you need all those technical skills, they are very important, but eventually analytics and data science should be used for decision making, right? And we face a lot of opportunities and challenges here, and I think every business that does it. We do it here at Lidl, of course, as well with our massive expansion, and there having an understanding for the business, being able to translate the data that the students or kind of we are all working with into actionable insights. That is a skill and a curiosity and just something that I'm looking for. Not only understanding how to query data, but really to understand how to manipulate and work with the data to make it actionable. I think that is something I would want to add.
Very good. I like that. The understanding, the decision-making, actionable insights are just, they're almost more valuable than the technical skills. As you said, the technical skills are table stakes. Or I'll say that they're table stakes. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But John, what would you like to add?
When I interview data scientists, my first questions, of course, go to the things that I love, which are math and programming and things like that. But then I think back to the kinds of things that helped to jumpstart my own career, and that is, writing and presentations. And that, for students, I think some advice would be, if you have the chance to write a paper, report, proposal, grants, and grants was really one of the things that kicked off my career. And later on, in fact, helped me in my business career. Those things are, really valuable. The other things that I look for are things like, both, a joy and creativity with respect to the kinds of technical things that you're going to be dealing with, but also to pick an industry, maybe. I have a very, long and varied career in a lot of different areas of sort of statistical learning theory across a lot of different industries. So one of the things that I think for people that are starting out, if they can pick an industry that they really love, something that, and of course, entertainment is really interesting and very fun. I have to give it a plug. But there's all kinds, more generally, like marketing research firms like Ipsos and Nielsen and things like that, or there's also finance, pharma, agrichem. There's a whole slew of things where you might not think, oh, really, there's data science in that, and then there's actually tons of data science in that. So both as advice, but also in terms of interviewing, I look for that. I look for those kinds of things in people that are new into the field.
All right. Before we open it up to the questions I see some of these questions are coming through the chat. Potentially, maybe you all could just highlight what specific roles on your teams that you have right now, or you might be having. It's just to give the students in the audience an idea of what roles, entry-level roles that you have for data scientists, business analysts, and such.
I'm happy to jump in and start.
Okay.
So I'm new, and so as part of being a new leader of a team, it comes with the opportunity, but also obligation to right-size the team. And I'm certainly seeing a huge opportunity to scale the team. And so as such, perhaps not today, but in the near future, I will be having plenty of roles ranging from summer internship next year. That's perhaps kind of the more distant, but opening up roles at the various levels of individual contributors on the data science side, ranging from recent graduates all the way to very experienced leaders. And I will happen to have also people leadership roles all the way to directors. So very nuanced and a lot of different opportunities to apply different skill sets. Both technical as well as some of the soft skills that we sort of touched on. I really like the way John sort of framed it in the prior question in terms of identifying an industry. And the way I would perhaps frame it is think about your passions, right? What is it that drives you? What is it that you're excited about that kind of gives you the energy that you can pass along? And that's what I will be looking for. Individuals with energy, whether that's real estate, whether that's technology, or if it's specific subset of data science, visualization, or modeling, that really kind of gives them the edge, and that's the kind of a profile I will be looking for.
Okay. Danielle or John, do you have anything to add? If not, that's fine, but if you do, please do so.
Well, yes. So on my end, the biggest opportunities that we have right now are part of what I mentioned already. Is the regionalization and the assortment optimization, as well as predictive analytics. So the roles that we are, or kind of I'm currently looking for and have my team is kind of in the role of data engineer, of course, is something which we need, and just database experts, just in order to get all the data that we need to come to those insights, right? And on the other hand, then as well, people with skills within the field of predictive analytics, of machine learning, improving our models, and as well eventually automating certain steps that we currently are doing manually, supporting the business. Those I would describe as the kind of roles that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, we're always looking for analysts and data scientists. As we, as things get more complex, we'll, eventually need more heads to work on these projects, and especially in the streaming side, where we're working with big data. So, that becomes a much bigger effort. Although, at the same time, we do a lot of ad hoc projects as well. So, we need people that will be able to, span that smorgasbord of different kinds of data science that we're all talking about. But as well as, analysts and analysts that want to become supercharged at what they do, so that they're not, or rather they're becoming more and more involved in and more integrated with the data science, whether it's through visualization or through some of the dealing with some of the kinds of products and tools that we deal with.
All right, so now is the time where we're going to, thank you, gentlemen. Now is the time we're going to ask some of the questions that I've seen come through the chat. And the first one that came through our chat is, what are some pitfalls to avoid when becoming more data-driven? Does anyone want to share a war story?
I'll go. I have an axe to grind. One of the things that, over the years that I sort of one of my great wishes was that when there's data science being done on data, the organizations are often, they come from a legacy many times, not always, but sometimes from a legacy. And so one of the things that a data scientist has to do is to navigate all of that. And if the data, it has a better design, the collection of the data, a better design, better scientific design, but also systematic and organized and those kinds of things, then downstream, you're going to get more value. You're going to get more value out of your data scientists, but you're going to get more value out of your data. And so as a data scientist, I'm always pressing for that kind of effort on the business side, so that we can get that kind of, and this goes across my entire career. So I'm not complaining about anybody in this, but that from the business standpoint is what I find is a pitfall.
Well, that leads us into our next question, which Tiffany has got from the audience, the students, and you can imagine these students, they come up with some of the best questions. Like, listen, all right, so you ready? We should have started our whole conversation with this one. Do you believe that technical consultants can present more value with predictive modeling skills, or do you find that exploratory data analysis, or rather EDA, will work to drive more insights for the company? So I think what they're saying is, do you see exploratory data analysis as a preliminary step, or the primary step, means to the end?
I'm happy to take this on, and perhaps even connected to the prior question. In addition to what John mentioned, data-driven is a label that can mean anything. That can mean a lot of things. And so clarifying what that actually is, and what the desired outcomes are, and recognizing that not everything will happen overnight is important. And so as I look at this question, which is a great question, I don't see that as a binary or as a either or. I think it comes in phases, right? And I would argue that in moments where we don't know much, or we have a strong suspicion that what we know is not good or not enough, the exploratory analysis and trying to understand the landscape and give the organization the pointers and directions, or options and directions, is invaluable, right? It may not bring value immediately, but it's something that is really important. In order to action that, and in order to know how much to invest, either long-term or short-term, and what specific actions to be made, the sort of a predictive modeling and prescriptive analysis is kind of what is needed in order to bring that home. So I don't see that as either or. I see it perhaps as a sequencing, and obviously for different business problems, it may be happening in different moments.
And is perhaps I think the more that we all explore, I guess explore would be overused here, but the more that any of these students can specifically relate to exploratory data analysis or predictive prescriptive analysis and explain that in their interviews and understand possibly what they like more, what is part of, to your point, John and Lucas, what are you more passionate about? So you might be more passionate about the exploratory analysis, and that would be good to express in an interview so that you as, as you're looking for talent, that people have really dug into specific analyses and they know what they like or they don't like or what they excel at and why, and give a story around that. So sometimes, John, you started out in saying it's a smorgasbord, and it can be a smorgasbord, but you want to know what people have, are gravitating towards. Having an opinion is probably more important about what you like most in this big ecosystem of analytics and data, I'm guessing. So
can I just real quick,
yes.
One thing, if I may, because this is a good segue to something that I really like to kind of say to my teams and to the business. There's a value of answering well a question. And I think that's what the predictive modeling does, right? A really good answer to a question. What is even more of an opportunity is asking the right question in the first place. And that's kind of where the exploratory comes and can help, set the direction that can open up more value than answering a specific question. So I think this is the way how it can be seen as well. And this goes back to the communication, curiosity, and just, proactiveness, that it adds a huge value on top of the hard, kind of a technical data science skills.
And I'll just do a plug for, it's for WCA's accelerator, but you guys can all out there find these type of projects throughout campus. One of these things really help you zero in on that communication of your business insights and gives you good practicing skills and application of what you're learning in class with real live business cases and problems to be solved with leaders and companies such as those that are represented here. All right, let's move on to one other question that also came through on the chat. And that is, what are promising technologies, techniques in data science that you expect to see more attention given in the future, in the next, 6 to 18 months?
I can go on that, and
Okay.
I think it's a very interesting question, and it's as well definitely there's no concrete answer from my perspective possible at this point, and I can as well explain you why. Because of course it depends on the business field and kind of the industry that you would be working on, and on the challenges and opportunities that you would be facing. But I can, of course, from Lidl, from our perspective, think what is very interesting from our perspective, and being there a global player. We have, of course, with over 30 countries, we have a lot of different analytics team across those countries, and we are as well working very closely together with those different countries and exchanging here best practices and experience. And for us at this point, very interesting is everything in regards, of course, to NLP, to AI, and in regards to video analysis, in regards to better detecting patterns and cross analyze as well data. So internal data with that we have maybe from our customers from receipt perspective, but as well kind of cross analyze them together with data that we can find on a website, on Google reviews, kind of all technologies that help us to gather those information and to help us to create a good picture with that. And as Lucas mentioned, kind of getting as well the data visualized in a form that you really come to the right questions, that you find the opportunities that you have, and the most important thing is then bring them into actionable insights. Because what I always like to tell my team as well is eventually data science without decision making is just as well very expensive artwork, right? It is very, very useful, but eventually what we need to do as a business is we need to increase profit, and I think data science and analytics has a big role and a big part, and eventually we always need to focus on providing that value added.
Yeah, that's quite a balance like that you stated there, Danielle, and rightfully so. I mean, I like how you have emphasized it. Data science, it's it's really cool, and there's lots of different. It's always changing, and there's new things to learn all the time, new models, new languages. But again, at the end of the day, it needs to be tied to what decisions are going to be made to move the company forward, and such. And it's really, it would behoove all of us, all data scientists, to realize that it has to be connected in that way. So I appreciate you emphasizing that. We have another question before we might need to close out. So this one I thought was quite good. How do you see AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, which a lot of times people put that both together, going forward in your businesses? Do you see these analyses will be, are they going to continue to be automated? Do you see data science playing a major role in the industry, not only now, but 10 years from now? Do you think it's going to continue to be as robust? That's a good question as well.
I'll go. I think that there's always going to be the art, and a lot of that's associated with the business. So even though we will have better and there will be automated things, and things will be easier. I'm hoping. But I always think that there will always be an art to a lot of this. I certainly think that data science is here to stay, and 10 years from now it will continue to be a very important role in business.
Yeah, I will add sort of a personal story, or it's not a story, but experience. 10 years ago, I was at a conference where there was a ambitious claim saying that within maybe 5 years, if not 10 years, this would have already happened. Like, there would be no analysts, no data scientists, everything will be automated. We are now 10 years fast forward, and I would argue that the demand for data science and analytics, despite a huge advancement in AI, ML, and other technologies, is bigger, not smaller, right? And so I don't want to put myself in the shoes of a visionary who predicts what will be in 10 years, but I would be pretty comfortable to say that at least for the next couple of years, we will have a huge, if not larger than today, dependency on those that can kind of add the layer of interpretation, the art, which is actually what makes data science, really at the end of the day, that will be needed for the next couple of years at least.
All right, well, I have one more question for you all before we're going to have to end this, but I do think just one other comment based on what you just said about the art. In fact, you've all talked about the art of data science, and then Danielle very much keeping us grounded it is to make decisions. I'll be curious to know if the term data scientist will morph into a different term that includes a little bit more of intuition. I'm hearing more and more about data intuition, this art. So I'm just, let's stay tuned and see if we have a different term that is going to be more prolific than data scientist. So with my last question for all of you, what I'd really like for you guys to answer is, what is one piece of advice you'd give to a data scientist and our students out there in the audience entering the workforce that you haven't already stated? How's that?
Yeah, that's a good one. Of course, there's a lot of experience here in the panel. I think we can all give more than one advice, but if I should bring it down to just one advice, especially if you are new with the business or with the company, is search for the value added that you as an individual can bring. Show that very quickly and fast, and tell the business of that value added. I think that is the biggest advice that I would give you is search for the pain points and show them that you are the one who's able to create that value.
Very good.
Yeah, I have this ready, and I was planning on saying and talking about the passion, but I have used it already earlier. And so I will say, please identify your passion and follow your passion that will power you through your whole career. But to keep it simple and to keep something new, I would say what is underappreciated is the power of asking questions. Ask questions, especially as in, will be new intern or, kind of a new graduate. Not everyone is expecting you to have all the answers, but you can ask questions, and it's a superpower that I feel like we lose a little bit over our career. And so I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they are doing a great job at that. And so that would be my advice: keep doing so, because there's a lot of value coming from that.
Very good. All right, John, what superpower advice are you going to give our students?
Well, just from a practical standpoint, internships, the AI hacks, the analytics accelerator, those kinds of projects, those kinds of things. And this dovetails with my thoughts about, grants and proposals and research and getting involved with groups, working with other members, with teams of students, things like that. That's an excellent way of getting forward, meeting a lot of different people, meeting people like us, this panel. We're all just the same individuals that have come through this like they are. So.
Very good. Well, on behalf of WCA and WUDAC, I want to thank our panelists that have joined us today, Lucas, Danielle, John. I really appreciate the time and the excellent advice and insights that you've provided into your careers and your companies. I am now going to hand it over to Tiffany, who will close out the session. Tiffany?
Of course, yeah. So thank you guys again so much to our panelists, to our moderator, Mary, for all of that. We really enjoyed hearing about all of your advice. And so, yeah, so on behalf of WUDAC and WCA, thank you guys so much for attending. One thing, so if you guys want to work with these wonderful companies and work on the problems that they were talking about, the Analytics Accelerator applications are open now, and they close September 20th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. And Maddie just sent the link in the chat, so definitely check out the applications there. In addition, we also have our own club committee applications that are due exactly at the same time, and I will also send those in the chat. Last thing too is that we have our technical, WCA hosts a technical workshop called Storytelling with Data virtual, which is virtual, and it will be on September 24th at 11 a.m. And Maddie also plugged it in the same link in the chat. And then, yeah, finally, of course, thank you guys so much for coming in person. So WUDAC will be trying to host in-person events throughout this entire semester. And then, of course, if you guys ever want to talk to WCA, talk about the companies that they partner with and things like that, they are up here on the 3rd floor. And for everyone who's virtual, we're in the academic research building. So definitely come swing by to come talk to them, grab some swag, and we also have swag in person as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much again.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank
All right,
you.
have a great Friday. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Bye.
So,
Thank you.
Bye. Good to see you.